Teenagers filmed a deaf kid crying outside a restaurant and posted it online for laughs. The video hit 200,000 views by morning. But when one biker saw that boy's face, he made a single phone call. 3 days later, 40 bikers rolled into that small town, and those bullies had no idea what was coming. 16-year-old Noah Matthews sat outside Rosie's Diner in Milbrook, Ohio, clutching a burger bag, waiting for his mom to finish her nursing shift. He didn't hear Tyler Brennan and his crew approaching. Being deaf meant surprises came without warning. Tyler's phone was already recording when he snatched the bag from Noah's hands. "Hey, look! It's the deaf kid!" Tyler yelled, waving the bag above his head while his friends circled Noah like wolves. "What's wrong? Cat got your tongue?" Noah's hands moved desperately, signing "please give it back," but Tyler just mimicked him with wild, mocking gestures. The other boys howled with laughter. One of them shoved Noah backward. Another kicked his skateboard into the street. Noah tried not to cry. He really tried. But when Tyler dumped his burger onto the ground and stomped on it, the tears came anyway. The camera zoomed in close, capturing every second of his humiliation. "Can't even scream for help." Tyler laughed. "What a loser." They walked away still filming, still laughing. Tyler posted the video 20 minutes later with the caption, "Silent loser can't even scream face with tears of joy." By morning, it had 200,000 views. 300 miles away in Pittsburgh, Marcus "Tank" Reeves was drinking his third coffee when his phone buzzed. Someone from his biker group, the Steel Vows, had shared the video in their chat with a message, "This is messed up. Poor kid." Tank almost didn't watch it. He'd seen enough cruelty in his 47 years, 2 tours in Afghanistan had shown him the worst of humanity. But something made him click. The moment he saw the boy's face, Tank's coffee mug slipped from his hand and shattered on the floor. Those eyes. That jaw. The way the kid held himself even while crying. Tank knew that face because he'd watched it take its last breath 7 years ago in a field hospital in Kandahar. Sergeant Cole Matthews. The man who'd thrown himself over Tank when the mortars came. The man who'd taken shrapnel to the spine that should have killed him instantly. The man who'd grabbed Tank's collar with bloody hands and made him promise something as the medics rushed in. "My boy. Noah. He's only 9. If I don't make it. Promise me, Tank. Promise you'll look out for him." Tank had made that promise. He'd stood at Cole's grave in the rain and sworn it again to a widow and a small boy who couldn't hear the words but understood the tears. And then life happened. Tank moved to Pittsburgh. Tried to drink away the nightmares. Lost himself in motorcycle repairs and weekly rides. He'd sent cards at Christmas, called Sarah a few times, but eventually the calls went unanswered and Tank convinced himself the family had moved on. Now Cole's son was sobbing on the internet while teenagers laughed and the world watched. Tank's hands were shaking when he opened his laptop and typed, "Milbrook, Ohio," into the search bar. Then he opened his contacts and sent a message to every member of the Steel Vows. "Brothers, I need you. It's time to ride. And bring everyone you know." Within an hour, 40 bikers from 3 states had responded. "We're coming." Tank's Harley roared into Milbrook 2 days later, followed by 5 members of the Steel Vows. The small town felt suffocating, everyone staring, whispering, judging. He found the Matthews house easily. The same ranch-style home he'd visited 7 years ago for Cole's funeral, only now it looked tired, the paint peeling, the garden overgrown. Sarah Matthews opened the door in scrubs, dark circles under her eyes. She stared at Tank for a long moment before recognition flickered across her face. "Tank?" Her voice cracked. "Marcus Reeves?" "Yes, ma'am. I came about Noah." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. She pulled him inside quickly, glancing nervously at the street. He won't leave his room. Won't eat. The school says he can come back, but he refuses. I don't know what to do anymore. I saw the video, Tank said quietly. I'm sorry I wasn't here sooner. It's not your fault, Sarah wiped her eyes. But it's getting worse, Tank. After I defended him online, I started getting messages. Horrible messages. People saying I raised a weakling. That he deserves it. Someone even threatened to. She stopped, her hand trembling as she showed him her phone. The messages made Tank's blood boil. Death threats. Addresses. Photos of their house. Where are those boys? Tank's voice came out as a growl. Where do they live? Sarah grabbed his arm. Tank, no. Please. That's not what Cole would want. Cole's not here. Tank's voice rose. But I am. And I promised him I'd protect you both. Those kids need to learn respect the hard way. And then what? Sarah's eyes flashed. You get arrested? Noah loses another person he cares about? How does that honor Cole's memory? Tank stormed out before he said something he'd regret. He drove to the local bar where his crew was waiting, Murphy's Tavern, a dive with motorcycles lining the parking lot. Inside, his brothers sat around a corner table. Diesel, a 50-year-old veteran with a gray beard. Mercy, a former army medic with tattoos covering her arms. Snake, Crow, and Bishop, all of them outcasts who'd found family on the road. Found the kids' addresses, Diesel said, sliding a piece of paper across the table. Say the word, Tank. Tank stared at the paper. Tyler Brennan lived on Maple Street. Easy target. His hands curled into fists. Cole would want us to make this right, Tank muttered. Would he? Mercy's voice cut through the anger. Cole died protecting people, Tank. Not hurting them. Those boys hurt his son. And we're better than them, Bishop leaned forward. Cole didn't die for us to spread more hate. We ride for honor, remember? That's what the steel vows means. Tank slammed his fist on the table. But deep down, he knew they were right. Cole had saved Tank's life by being brave, not brutal. By choosing sacrifice over violence. Tank took a long breath. Then we do this differently. We send a message those boys, and this whole town, will never forget. What kind of message? Snake asked. Tank looked at his brothers, a plan forming in his mind. We show them what real strength looks like. We ride. The message spread like wildfire across biker communities in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia. Ride for respect, no more silence. Saturday. Milbrook, Ohio. For a fallen soldier's son. Tank posted Noah's story, carefully, without showing the video, explaining how his father had died a hero, how his son deserved better, how one act of kindness could change a life. Within 3 days, 40 bikers confirmed they were coming. Veterans. Teachers. Parents. Firefighters. People who'd been bullied themselves. People who'd lost someone to war. All of them riding for a 16-year-old boy they'd never met. Milbrook erupted in panic. The town Facebook page exploded with fear. 40 bikers coming to our town. Lock your doors. The police chief called an emergency meeting. Tyler Brennan's father hired a lawyer. News vans from Columbus and Cleveland arrived, cameras ready to capture violence. What if they hurt someone? Sarah asked Tank on Friday night, her voice shaking. We won't, Tank promised. We're just going to show Noah he's not alone. But even Tank felt nervous. 40 motorcycles. One small town. So many ways this could go wrong. Saturday morning arrived cold and gray. Noah sat on his porch, his mom beside him, as the distant rumble began. At first, it sounded like thunder. Then it grew louder. Closer. The ground itself seemed to vibrate. 40 motorcycles rolled down Main Street in a perfect line. People poured out of their houses. Police cars followed at a distance. News cameras filmed everything. Tyler Brennan watched from his bedroom window, his face pale. The bikers didn't speed. They didn't rev their engines aggressively. They rode with quiet dignity, American flags snapping in the wind, moving like a steel river through the small town. They stopped at Rosie's diner. The exact spot where Noah had been humiliated. 40 engines cut off simultaneously. The silence that followed was deafening. Tank dismounted first. He walked slowly toward Noah's house, his leather vest creaking, his boots heavy on the pavement. The other bikers stayed behind, forming a wall of solidarity. Noah stood, trembling. He'd never seen anything like this. 40 strangers, all here for him. Tank stopped 3 feet away and slowly knelt on one knee. From inside his vest, he pulled out a set of dog tags, worn, scratched, stained with sand from a desert battlefield. Cole Matthews's dog tags. Tank had carried them for 7 years, unable to let go of the man who'd saved his life. He placed them gently in Noah's palm and spoke, knowing the boy would read his lips. "Your dad rides with us today. He's always with you. And you're never alone again." Noah's eyes filled with tears, but this time they weren't from pain. His hands moved, signing something Tank didn't fully understand. But Sarah translated, her own voice breaking. "He says, thank you for remembering him." Behind them, the 40 bikers raised their fists in silent salute. The town watched, cameras rolling, as something shifted in Milbrook that morning, a moment when strength didn't roar, but whispered. The silence lasted only seconds before movement rippled through the crowd. Tyler Brennan's mother pushed through first, dragging her son by his arm. His father followed, face red with shame. Behind them came the other boys and their parents, all looking like they'd rather be anywhere else. Mrs. Brennan stopped in front of Noah, tears streaming down her face. "I'm so sorry," she said, her voice cracking. "We raised him better than this. We thought we did." Tyler stood frozen, staring at the ground. Tank stepped forward, his massive frame blocking the boy's escape. "Look at him," Tank said quietly, but with steel in his voice. "Look at what you did." Tyler's eyes finally lifted to Noah's face. The cocky quarterback was gone. In his place stood a terrified 16-year-old who just realized the weight of his actions. "I'm sorry," Tyler whispered, his voice breaking. "I'm really sorry. I deleted the video. I told everyone who shared it to take it down. I didn't know. I didn't know about your dad. I didn't know about any of it." Noah's hands moved slowly, signing something. Sarah translated. "He says, you didn't need to know. You just needed to be kind." The simplicity of it hit Tyler like a punch. He nodded, wiping his eyes, and walked away with his head down. But then came the surprise. George Hendricks, the owner of Rosie's Diner, stepped forward. He was a heavy-set man in his 60s who'd ignored the bullying that night, pretended not to see it happening in his parking lot. "I was wrong," George said, his voice trembling. "I saw what happened that night and I did nothing. I told myself it wasn't my business. But silence is just another form of cruelty." He turned to Noah. "I want to make it right. I'm starting a deaf awareness fund. Every month, 10% of my profits will go to ASL programs in schools. And you," he pointed to Noah, "you eat free at my diner for life." The crowd murmured in approval. News vans captured everything. By evening, the headlines had shifted. 40 bikers turn cruelty into courage, small town learns what true strength means. Viral bullying video gets powerful response from veteran community. Teen who lost father in war finds new family on 2 wheels. Noah stood surrounded by strangers who'd become brothers. His hands moved, forming the sign for "thank you," repeated over and over. Tank smiled and signed back, slowly, carefully, the way he'd practiced all night watching YouTube videos. Always. The word came out clumsy, his fingers uncertain, but Noah understood. His face broke into the first real smile he'd had in weeks. As the sun broke through the clouds, the steel vows mounted their bikes. 40 engines roared to life one final time, not in anger, but in celebration. They rode off together, leaving behind a town that had learned something important: real strength doesn't come from fists or fear. It comes from showing up for those who can't fight alone. And it always keeps its promises.